In this study, we review sustainable development in education, which is aimed at creating a system in which future professionals gain knowledge and skill necessary for the development of sustainable and responsible community. One of these skills is communication skills, social interaction skills, the ability to collaborate and solve problems collectively. One of the approaches in which students work together in groups or teams to solve tasks and problems is collaborative learning. Collaborative learning can contribute to the sustainable development of education because it promotes the development of critical thinking, tolerance, and the ability to work together on global problems. In collaborative learning, students can better understand the importance of sustainable development by working together on specific tasks and projects, including IT projects that are related to the ecology, economy, society, etc. Therefore, collaborative learning can contribute to the training of professionals who understand the importance of sustainable development and have the skills to collaborate to achieve the goal. The review of scientific studies shows that they pay little attention to the description of the methodology of using collaborative learning in the training of future IT professionals. So the purpose of this study is to find out the place and significance of collaborative learning in the structure of professional training of IT students and the impact of its use on the development of student skills of interaction and effective teamwork, students training for team programming in the context of the implementation of sustainable development goals. In this research, we used a system of methods, among which the most important were systemic, problematic, targeted, and ecological, to understand the place and importance of collaborative learning as one of the ways to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals. Pedagogical, social, psychological, to reveal the phenomenology of group work which is used in the collaborative learning. Cognitivistics, to understand the phenomenon of collective and individual minds. Autopoiesis, to analyze the phenomenon of collaborative learning as socio-biological and cognitive phenomenon. Psychological, to analyze group dynamics and the phenomena of internal and external motivation in the process of implementing collaborative learning. The questionnaire method was used based on the development of our questionnaire. Analysis statistical to analyze survey results. NLP, digital modeling, data visualization. To analyze the survey results, we used analysis methods, statistical method, it's Wilcoxon signed rank test, analysis of standard deviation and mean values, NLP methods, digital modeling, and data visualization. The research results were processed using Google Sheets, Google Collaboratory, and the Python programming languages. Natural language processing was implemented using the Python programming language and NLTK open source library. The data, this is the source on slide 4. It is the survey questionnaire which we used in our research. The data were statistically processed using the Wilcoxon signed rank test. It was used to find out whether there is a statistically significant difference between the respective estimates of the impact of cooperative learning and collaborative learning on the development of students' teamwork skills. We formulate the following hypothesis. H0. The intensity of typical shifts is statistically significant at the level of significance alpha less than W does not exceed the intensity of atypical shifts. And hypothesis H1 is also shown on this slide. Depending on calculation in formula 1 as first, second, and third, we accept H1 or H0 hypothesis. In this study, we reviewed how collaborative and cooperative learning can be used in training sport programming teams. It often happens that in sport programming team, each team member specialized in a certain type of task. An example of cooperative learning would be a process in which each team member works on the tasks that best suit their knowledge. That is, team member M1 develops a solution for tasks T1 on a computer. Team member M2 develops an algorithm for solving task 2, and M3 works on task 3. Team members work on their own parts, and collaboration between them is minimal. Below, we can say about some examples of how cooperation described above can be transformed into collaboration. While team member M1 is programming test T1 on the computer, team members M2 and M3 work together on the algorithm for task 2. Team member M1 writes the code to solve problem T1, while M2 monitors this process. At the same time, M3 works on the algorithm for task 2, etc. We suggest the following stages of preparation and for competitions in team sports programming. It's formation of the team, defining the roles and fields of specialization of each participant, and training. The process is usually not linear. At any stage of the process, there may be a need to return to the previous stage, and it may be iterative. The process is shown on slide 6. We conducted a survey of IT lecturers from different universities, and 42 lecturers participated in this survey. As a result of the analysis of lecturers' answers to the question, what do you understand by cooperative learning, based on the frequency distribution of keywords, it's on the left image. It was found that the key characteristic of the contents of the concept of cooperating education for respondents are teaching based on cooperative work in a small group. The frequency analysis of lecturers' answer to the second question, what do you understand by collaborative learning, based on the distribution of keyword, is shown on right image, and it showed that the key characteristic of the content of the concept of collaborative learning for respondents are learning work of students in a small group based on collaborative, who have different abilities and cooperate together to solve problems on complete project tasks. We found if there is a statistically significant difference in the respondents' assessment of the impact of cooperative and collaborative learning on the development of students' teamwork skills. For this purpose, we will use the Wilcoxon assigned rank test. For these purposes, we also filled a table shown on this slide. On slide 9, there are calculations which shows why hypothesis H0 is accepted. On slide 10, it is shown that the mean values of the impact assessment of cooperative and collaborative learning do not differ significantly. However, based on the values of standard deviation, we can say that the scores of collaborative learning on average fluctuate less relative to the mean than the scores of cooperative learning. That is, they are more homogeneous. Regarding the use of cooperative and collaborative teaching methods by respondents in educational practice, the following data were found on slide 11. We explain this distribution by the fact that cooperative learning is more traditional and established, and therefore is used more often. Collaborative learning is relatively new, innovative, and aimed at unlocking the potential of the individual in the process of joint activities. The distribution shown in this graph indicates the dominance of auditory classes in lecturers' educational practice is shown on this slide. We believe that this distribution is a manifestation of an established tradition in which collective learning dominates both in actual and contextual formats. First part of slide 13 indicates a rather significant effectiveness of collaborative learning in solving relatively simple tasks, which is typical when using group work methods. It's well known that in a group, simple tasks are performed more efficiently than in an individual. Second part of it indicates a fairly significant effectiveness of the use of collaborative learning in solving relatively complex tasks within team programming. Compared to the previous graph, which shows the effectiveness of solving relatively simple tasks, this graph indicates a slightly lower efficiency in the implementation of complex tasks. This reflects a well-known phenomenon, the essence of which is that working in a group does not always contribute to the effective solution of complex intellectual and creative tasks. Slide 14 indicates that a significant aspect of collaborative learning in the formation of effective goal setting and understanding of the tasks that can be viewed as technology-oriented problematization. First part of slide 15 reveals the emotional aspect of collaborative learning in the format of effective interaction in the group. Effective emotional interaction helps to consolidate the group, develop goal setting and communication, and form a collective mind. Second part of the slides shows the phenomenology of effective cognitive interaction in the group, which is quite high. This indicates that collaborative learning contributes to the disclosure of individual intelligence, the formation of a collective mind, and intellectual communication, which ultimately manifests itself in the effective solution of intellectual problems. The next slide shows a fairly significant percentages characterizing the development of the common values in the group activities. These values are relevant because they represent an axiology basis that determines the consolidation of the group, its focus, goal setting, ethics of activity, and ultimately the effectiveness of solving intellectual tasks assigned to the group. We can conclude that based on the conducted theoretical and practical studies, it can be said that collaborative learning, which is implemented in the format of group work, is at the same time personalized, psychologized, intellectualized, and socio-psychological. The innovativeness and democratization of collaborative learning makes it possible to organically and synergistically integrate the individual and collective mind, and accordingly to obtain significant educational, creative, and intellectual effects when it's applied. Thus, the use of collaborative learning in the process of training future IT specialists provides an opportunity to share knowledge and experience among team members, which allows for faster learning and development, to improve communication skills and the ability to work in a team, increase the motivation and involvement of each participant in the learning process, and to receive feedback and correct mistakes in the learning process, and therefore potentially improve the results that the team achieves. Thank you for your attention.